Hey everyone, my name is Eileen. I'm the youth librarian here at the Portland District Library. I want to welcome everybody to our next middles art program, and this one is called Paint Drip Monster Pots. So here is a sneak peek at what we are going to be making today. This is my little monster, and he's got green and red paint with a little yellow mouth and some pipe cleaners up here for some crazy hair. So that's what we're going to be making today in this tutorial. You should have already received your take and make bag here at the library. This is going to have all of the supplies you need to do this project with me. So in just a minute, I'm going to go over what is in your take and make bag, and then I'm going to walk you through step by step how to complete this project. I have a few important tips and tricks to show you along the way, so make sure you watch until the end, and then you can get started on your project. So are we ready to get started on our Paint Drip Monster Pots? I know I am, so here we go. Before we get started on the step-by-step instructions, I want to show everybody all of the things that they have in their take and make bag. Now, your items might be different colors, but you should all have the same quantity of things. So you should have 2 paint cups, and yours are they're going to have tape over the lids, and they're going to be in a separate baggie to prevent paint spillage in your take and make bag, because we always want to make sure we don't get our paint everywhere. So I have purple and yellow as my colors. Then you'll have a strip of colored paper, and my paper is red. Yours might be yellow, black, any of the colors. Then you should have 2 pipe cleaners, an assortment of googly eyes, 2 popsicle sticks, a terracotta pot, and a paper plate. And the paper plate is for us to get messy, so yeah, use that as your workspace. And then the one thing that we did not provide that you will need is you're gonna need a little cup of water. And that's because we mix a little bit of water into our paint prior to the pouring to make it easier for that paint to spread on our pots. All right, so we're gonna jump right into the step-by-step instructions here next, and I hope you follow along with me today. All right, so the first step in this project is we're actually going to do a little bit of prep work to actually making our Paint Drip Monster Pots. So we're going to be doing some things to just prep our project. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our little strip of paper here, and we're going to tear it to make the mouth for our monster. So let me just show you my finished example. So this is, again, what my finished example looks like. And you can see there that he's got some ridges on the top part, so we're either gonna tear this, or if you have a pair of scissors at home, you can go ahead and cut your little mouth. But we're gonna start by making our little mouth for our monster pot. So what I'm gonna do is I am just gonna take my little piece of paper here, and I am gonna tear some nice, rigid, little ugly teeth on this mouth of mine. And again, you can use scissors, that's totally fine. I am going for a little bit of a natural look, so we're just gonna tear our mouth here. And you can make this as big or small as you want. This is kind of where I say that you have some creative freedom to do what you would like. So there is what my mouth is gonna be looking like for my monster pot. All right, so now that I have my mouth ready to go, the next step that we're gonna do is we are gonna be adding what we're calling hair to our monster pot. So what you're gonna do is you can take your little pot here and you're gonna flip it upside down. Now you can see that there's this little hole on the top, and that's where we're gonna be sticking these 2 pipe cleaners that we gave you. And you can do this a couple of different ways. So you could end up folding your pipe cleaner in half, and they can have 4 little pieces of hair sticking out the top, or you can just do 1 strand of hair of each color. And again, my pipe cleaners here are white and orange. Yours might be a different color. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to, again, we're gonna just weave our pipe cleaner through that little hole at the top. And depending on if you decide to use both of yours or just the one, just figure out how to get that sticking in there the way that you want it to look. And the thing about this is it might feel weird that you're doing this before you do the paint drip part, but the paint, we're actually trying to use that as a little bit of glue today in our project, so we're using it for a couple of different reasons today. So I am just gonna end up using my orange because I really, really enjoy his orange little hair. So we're just gonna be using the orange, but this is how I've got it stuck through the top there. Let me show you here. So there is what he looks like right now, just like that. And if you look at the bottom, I've just kind of tucked my fold in at the bottom there. All right, so now we've got his hair is done and his mouth is ready to go. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna get our paint ready. And in order to get our paint ready, what we need to do is we need to add a little bit of water to each of our paint cups here. Now, again, you're gonna have some creative freedom here for this part. So if you want to maybe mix your paint colors to make other colors, you could do that. I'm just sticking to my purple and my yellow. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my cup of water and I'm gonna pour just a little bit of water in each of them. I think I put too much in that one, so I'm gonna pour it in that one. So then you're gonna take your popsicle sticks and you're gonna stir that water and mix it into the paint. And here's my big piece of advice for this paint section. You do not want any lumps in your paint. So make sure that you're adding enough water and you're stirring that well enough to get all of the lumps out of your paint. What's gonna happen is if you have lumps in your paint, it means it's not thin enough and it's not gonna spread properly when you actually go to pour it onto your pot to make your monster. Okay, so I think my paint is almost thin enough. And you want to just add a little bit of water at a time because you don't want to get your paint to the point where it's so thin and runny that it's not even really a color anymore. It's more water than it is paint. Okay, so now that we have our water mixed into our paint, we are gonna get our paper plate in front of us because this is where we're gonna make our mess. And as you can see, I've already made a little mess on the table here, but this is Crayola washable paint, so it's gonna come off of anything that you spill it on clothes, skin, all that good stuff. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my paper plate and I'm laying down my pot on my plate, and we're gonna start with our first color. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do the paint pouring technique. And what we have to do is we have to let every coat of paint dry. So you're only gonna do one color at a time. So let's say you have purple and yellow as well. So if you want purple to be your main color, then you would start with yellow because we're pouring the colors over one another. So I'm gonna show you my example again. If you can see here on my example, you can see that the top is green, but you can also see that there's red drips. So on this one, we started with red, let it dry, poured the green, and then put our mouth and our eyes on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna show you one of my colors because I don't have time to let it dry in between. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna show you with my purple. And what I'm gonna do here is going to simply just start pouring it. And again, we're kind of using the paint a little bit as some glue, so it's gonna dry on your hair there and it's gonna get, it's gonna make it stay put. And then what I'm doing is I'm just kind of leaning the pot in different directions over the paint, and as you can see, hopefully, it's gonna start running down the sides. So can you see that? All right, and you're just gonna keep doing the paint pouring technique until you've got your monster looking as you want it. And just remember that you do have to do one color at a time and then you have to let it dry, okay? So again, I'm only showing you the one color. But you can go ahead and use both of your colors or mix your two colors into a third one and use that as well. All right, so once you have poured your last layer of paint, so the last color that you want to add onto your monster. You're going to take your mouth that you made and we're going to attach it to our monster pot, and we're using the paint as glue here in this case, okay? So I'm going to pick a spot on my monster pot, and I am going to go ahead and just make sure that my mouth is going to stay right on there. So hopefully you can see that. And again, my hands are getting a little messy for this part. And you will have some spillage of your paint over your mouth, which is totally okay. I think it kind of makes them even more spooky. All right, so there is what we have so far. There he is with his orange hair and his purple paint body and his red monster mouth. All right, so I am gonna be right back. I'm gonna wash my hands and I'm gonna clean up my paint mess. Because I am done with my paint at this point, and then I'll show you what we can do to add our little googly eyes next. All right, everyone, so you should have an assortment of different googly eyes in your Take and Make bag from us, and these are the ones that have the adhesive on the back, so you have to like peel the sticker back off and then you can stick it on your monster pot. So once your monster pot is completely dry, you can go ahead and add your googly eyes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and peel off the backing, which apparently is easier said than done. Okay, that was pretty tricky for me, so if you need some help, make sure to ask for some help. That was just the one googly eye that I just got off. So what you can do is you can decorate, you could add just 2 eyes, or you could do what I'm about to do and just put eyes all over your monster pot. If you can see in my example pot, we only have the 2 eyes on the front, but I want to make mine super spooky, so I'm going to just stick them all over. And again, mine is still wet because it hasn't had time to dry. So make sure to wait until yours is dry, otherwise you're gonna have paint all over. So I hope you have all sorts of fun figuring out how to use your googly eyes, because again, this is super creepy. What do you think? I think mine's gonna have eyes all the way around. I really like that idea. And maybe, yep, I even put an eye on his mouth. He's got eyes in his mouth, guys. That's my monster for you. And when you're done, you could give your monster a name. You could even maybe write a little story about your monster to get you in the Halloween spirit. But now you have a little something to put in your room or in your house to decorate for Halloween. That's coming up in just a few weeks. All right, I'm gonna do one more eye because these are really hard to get off the backing. All right, so I think I am all done with my paint drip monster pot. And here is my finished product from today. Hopefully you can see that okay. Let me see here. There we go. We've got purple hair. We've got googly eyes all the way around. We have a super spooky mouth on the front there, which looks even creepier now that has an eyeball in it. But there is my paint drip monster pot. I hope everybody had fun completing their paint drip monster pots with me. Now again, yours is gonna look so different and unique, and I hope that you had so much fun making your monster pot today. My little monster is probably gonna be sitting on my desk here at work, so I'm excited to add this little guy to my desk. Now, along with all the supplies that you had to do your project today, in your Take and Make bag, there's also this half sheet from us, and it has a couple of books that you can check out from the library here in our collection of more arts and crafts projects that you can complete. And I would love if you sent me any pictures or videos of you completing this project or your finished monster pots. We always love to see what our patrons are doing with our Take and Make bag supplies. So if you want to, you can send me an email or message us on Facebook, or even stop by with your Monster Pot to show it off to us and our staff. We would love to see your finished project. All right, let me know if you have any questions, and have all sorts of fun completing your paint drip Monster Pots.